And so we're going to go to work now by problem solving with two sets with two, or Venn diagrams with two interlocking sets. And so here we have an example, and it says for us that there's an observational study was carried out of people who use the coffee machine in the supermarket. Of those surveyed, 140 had bought a scone, 100 bought a bar, 10 had bought a bar and a scone, and 30 had bought neither a bar nor a scone. And so our first job is to look at to represent this information on a Venn diagram. The questions here can give us a clue as to what's our unknown. And so the first question here that says, how many people were surveyed? So the amount of people surveyed, well, that would be our universal set, and that's our first unknown. So here we have, that's where we're going to call X. So I begin by drawing my Venn diagram and putting in everything that I can. So the first bit that I can draw anyway certainly is my universe. And I'm going to say U. And the cardinal number, hashtag U, well, from part 1 of our question, that's our unknown. So I'm going to let that equal to X this time. So I draw my two sets. I've set number 1. Here they are the people who brought a scone, so I'm going to call them S. And here I'm going to have the other group is the people who brought a bar. Okay, and from reading our question we have, well, 140 bought a scone. So here at S I'm going to have that equal to 140. Here at B I'm going to say, well, that equals to 100, and I'm going to fill that in here. Okay, the next bit then I have 10 bought a bar and a scone. Okay, here we have and. Always when we see and, we know that that equals to the intersection. So out here in my intersection I'm going to put in the 10 people who bought the bar. So there's 10 here. Now I'm told then as well 30 had bought neither a bar nor a scone. So those 30 people, they're going to go into our outer space, outside our two sets, but still inside the Venn diagram. And so here, just to complete our circle, so here if I look at S, well, S, I'm told in total is 140. I know I have these 10 here that are part of it. So inside in here, I know this area here, this part of S without B, well, that has to be equal to 140 taking away this 10 that we have in the intersection. And so that's going to give me 130. And over here in B, this area of B without S, B only, those who only bought a bar, well, that's going to be my 100 from outside, taking away again that 10 in the intersection. And so that's going to leave me with 90. And so to solve our problem, here of how many people were surveyed, number 2, well, how many people surveyed, that's our universal set. So we've called that X. We also know that all of this, everything in here and in here, all of this makes up the universal set. And so in this case, we're going to say, well, X, what we've called our universal set up here at the beginning, the cardinal number, the number of elements in the universe, X, we're going to let that equal to everything that's inside. So here I'm going to have X equals, well, first of all, it equals this 130. It also equals this 10 here in the intersection. So I'm going to mark that in, plus 10. And then it equals also to this 90 here that just bought a bar. The 90 who bought a bar only. So we'll add this. The other group that we can't forget is our group out here who didn't buy anything with their coffee. These 30 people out here in outer space. So I'll make sure to add those in. Okay. And so moving down to our next line then, well, I add the numbers together. So here I have 130 plus 10, well, that gives me 140. 140 plus 90, well, that gives me 230, and plus 30 here. So I know my magic number is 260 is X. So that's the total people that were surveyed, 260. Just to answer our last part then, number 3. Well, number 3 asks us, how many people bought a scone but not a bar? So if we go back and looking straight away on our Venn diagram, we can see here's the circle for scone. 140 people in total bought a scone, which is made up of this circle here. These 10 though did buy the bar. So this 130 people in here, they're the ones who bought a scone but didn't buy a bar. And if we're to write that down in mathematical, we would say hashtag the cardinal number of S without B is equal to 130. Okay, and so just very important that we remember that this symbol here in sets, well, that equals without. So backslash means without. Okay, we're going to look at another example now. And so this example says we have a group of 100 students and they're asked whether they like pop music or classical music. So here, the first piece of information, we have 100 students. I'm going to just underline that there. Here we have, and then whether they like pop music or classical. So we have two sets, one that we're going to call P and the other that we're going to call C. Okay, we're told 77 like pop, 42 like classical, 5 said they don't like any type. So those people that don't like any type, well, they're going to be outside the Venn diagram. They're going to be in outer space, but still inside the universe. So we're going to plot that now on a Venn diagram. Okay, so moving on now, we're going to draw our Venn diagram here. So we have our two sets, one that we've decided we're going to call P and the other that we're going to call C. And we know this time that the cardinal number of our universe, we're given this time up here, we're told is 100 students. So I'm going to have hashtag U equals to 100. Now we're told also that 77 students said they like pop music, so beside P I'm going to put 77 in brackets, and over here beside C I'm told 42 students like classical music. We're also told, very importantly down here, that the 5 students said they don't like any type of music, so out here in outer space I'm going to put down 5. Now here again, my question gives me a little bit of a clue. The first question says how many people liked both type of music, and that this time is what our unknown is, and so that's what I'm going to call X. So here for both, that's the intersection, the bit in the middle, and that's what I don't know. So out here I would, as always, I'd have P. Well, P is made up of, the whole of P is 77. It's made up of this part here and this part here. So this part here has to be equal to 77 to equal to 77 taking away X, and this bit out here, the classical music, but the bit that's just classical on its own, that has to be equal to the 42, which is all of it, taking away this X again from this part. And so here I'll have 42 take away X. Okay? So in order to find out this valuable piece of information here, the X, well, I simply say, as always, this bit here, this bit here, this bit here, and this bit here, they all make up the universe. They all make up the 100. And so I'm simply just going to write that out. So I have 77 take away x from my first circle, plus the x in the intersection, plus my 42, take away x in the next bit, plus my 5 from outer space. Well, all of that is equal to 100 to my universal set. Okay, so if I look here at minus x and plus x, well, I know that minus x, adding on x, that brings it back to 0. They're going to cancel. So I can get rid of those straight away. The next things that I'm going to look at really, well, here I have 77, and here I have 42, and here I have 5. So adding those three numbers together, 77 plus 42, well, that gives me 119, plus the 5, that gives me 124. And the only thing that I'm left with up here then is my minus x. So I have minus x, and that, what's that equal to? It's equal to 100. So 124 minus x equals 100. Now, very simply, I know if I want to get rid of, I want x just on its own. So in order to get x on its own, I need to take 124 from this side here. Isn't that right? So I'm going to have minus 124 down here. Now, the important thing with maths is, if I do something to one side, I have to do it to the other. So this minus 124 that I've just done here, I'm also going to do that on the other side. So I have 100, take away 124 over here. So 124 minus 124, well, that's going to cancel. So all that leaves on this side of the equals is the minus x. And here, if I have 100 take away 124, 100 take away 124, well, that's going to give me minus 24. And the other thing there then, if minus x is equal to minus 24, then x has to be equal to 24 itself. Okay? And that's me after finding the unknown. So now that I have found my x to be equal to 24, well, I can simply fill all of that into the Venn diagram. So now I'm going to have here, well, x equals 24. I'm going to have 77 take away 24 here is going to leave me with 53. And here I'm going to have 42 take away 24, and that's going to leave me with 18. And then I just do a very quick little check here at the end, and I would say, well, 53 from here plus 24, that gives me 77 in total, plus another 18, well, that gives me 95, and 95 plus 5 gives me 100, which is our total amount of elements of the universal set. And so here then I just answer the next question here, which says how many people liked pop music but not classical music. So I'm going to write that down mathematically. So part 3, I have how many people, so how many is our cardinal number, our hashtag, and this time it's P, pop music but not classical music. So again, for that without C, and so I'm left with just the 53. Okay, the bit just here in this side of the circle of P. And the next question then that I'm asked here, how many people liked pop or classical but not both? Now, so that's a very interesting one here. That's part 4. We're looking for how many, again, the cardinal number, hashtag. Now, pop or. So the word or, we've got that before, and or in sets always means union. So here we're going to have how many people like pop union C, but then we're asked for but not, another without. And here, but not, both, another word again for us to remember, both in sets always means intersection. So here we're going to have P intersection C. So essentially what we're being asked is How many people like this bit? This bit and this bit is the whole union, the or, but not without this bit here in the middle. So that's just our pieces in purple, which is 53 plus 18, there we go, which is 71.